Joe Flacco got himself a victory for the Cincinnati Bengals last night versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Joe Flacco looked really, really good. Question is, was his performance exposing the turmoil for the Cleveland Browns? We got to talk about it. And then Justin Fields has come out and pretty much said that he plans to be more aggressive for the New York Jets offense in their next matchup. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you gotta hit the music first.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, NFL fans? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. So if you tuned in, love talking football talk, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, yesterday, Joe Flacco, he had himself a football game versus Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the matchup that had him over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, had my man's Jamar Chase going out there catching 16 passes and really just lighting up the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And we looked at Jalen Ramsey like, my God, somebody free Jalen Ramsey because he was put in a blender. If he was lined up versus T. Higgins, cooked. If he was lined up versus Jamar Chase, cooked. Jalen Ramsey looked bad last night for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Joe Flacco took full advantage of that opportunity. And it's crazy because he just landed in Cincy last week, and they said, the announcers were talking about it from reporting from, the Cincinnati Bengals camp that when Joe Flacco came and had his first practice with the Cincinnati Bengals, they gave him about 30 plays, and he was able to just run through them right away. And then we also heard that, he said that if Jamar Chase was going to come to the huddle and say, throw it to me, he was going to throw it to him. And that he did last night. And the crazy thing is why we talking about is this just exposing the Cleveland Browns and how horrible they have been for the last few seasons when it comes to quarterback development, play calling, and just simply winning games. Joe Flacco looks like he turned back the clock at least for the last 2 weeks. I don't know if it's a change of scenery or what it is, but Joe Flacco did not look like this in his first few games for the Cleveland Browns. So far with the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Flacco in his game versus the Green Bay Packers completed 64% of his passes for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had a QBR of 90.9. And then last night, Joe Flacco, 66% completion rate, 3 touchdowns, 108.6 QBR, and a victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the crazy thing is, his entire time throughout this season, Joe Flacco has only completed over 60% of his passes once with the Cleveland Browns. Now, that speaks to, number one, coaching from the Cleveland Browns, and then also the type of talent that's around on the Cleveland Browns offense. I understand we got guys like Jerry Jeudy and Quinshon Judkins, who I really, really like, but you can't really compare that to the talent that's available for Joe Flacco in Cincy. We already knew that, but it really just exposed that the Cleveland Browns have a long way to go before they even can talk about competing in the AFC North. And I'm not even going to hold y'all. I was once a believer in Kevin Stefanski as being a really good coach. I thought that he was like really good offensive mind. But Kevin Stefanski for the Cleveland Browns, to keep it real with you, he's lost some of that good grace that he once had simply because, number one, you are part of the reason why you can't find stability at the quarterback position. Yes, we're going to look at, the GM and Barry, but we're also going to look at Kevin Stefanski and the stupidity that he has been doing in Cleveland for the past few seasons. Couldn't get nothing out of Deshaun Watson, couldn't get nothing out of DTR, got a little bit of something out of Joe Flacco, but this season, Joe Flacco has not looked how he looked in just 2 games with the Cincinnati Bengals. Then you're telling us that Shedeur Sanders is not ready, and we're looking at Dylan Gabriel, who you said is ready, and he has not been that good either. So Kevin Stefanski, I'm not a believer anymore. I believe that you're not really a good coach anymore until proven otherwise. When it comes to Joe Flacco, the man has been balling in Cincy. Now, I'm going to be quite honest with you. Joe Flacco with the Cincinnati Bengals is really giving me a little glimpse of maybe these guys could stay afloat until Joe Burrow come back. Maybe. Obviously, you want to see a little bit more from Joe Flacco in the Cincinnati Bengals, but the way that he was throwing the football last night gives you a little bit of positivity to move forward with if you're the Cincinnati Bengals and you are looking to try to stay afloat in hopes that uh Joe Burrow can return to this lineup. You know what I'm saying? And if he does return to this lineup and Joe Flacco does keep them afloat and this defense, you know what I'm saying, maybe not playing too great, but give you an opportunity to win football games, you give yourself a strong chance of making it to the playoffs and potentially making some noise once Joe Burrow returns, because that's going to be a jolt of energy infused in the Cincinnati Bengals, and then you will see what happens after that. But the crazy thing is that schedule for the Cincinnati Bengals, it's going to get tough. It's going to get tough. It really is. Next on the docket for the Cincinnati Bengals is the Jets, which is not really a good team, but you have the Chicago Bears, who are feeling themselves and have some confidence in the offense. They are one of the few teams to score 21 points in each game this season. I think they're the only team, to be quite honest with you. But then you have their rematch after your bye week versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then you go up against the New England Patriots. Then you go see Baltimore. Then you go see Buffalo. Then you see Baltimore again. If you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you got to start stacking wins, and you cannot go on a crazy losing streak with this upcoming schedule. You have to handle business, and we'll see what happens. But Joe Flacco looked like he can hold these guys and keep them afloat. And the crazy thing is, I don't know what the hell is going on in Cleveland. I think they have been exposed to not being. We already knew that they wasn't good, but we now know that Kevin Stefanski is not placing his quarterbacks in the best position to win this season, especially with an all-star defense. And for the sake of Myles Garrett, bro, you chose this. We seen certain comments come out from Myles Garrett and him not being pleased with what he's been going through in Cleveland. Bro, you had an opportunity to get up out of there. When you requested a trade, you went out there and they offered you a contract and threw some money at you, and you signed the damn contract. So Myles Garrett, save it for yourself, because don't nobody want to hear that. Don't nobody want to hear that from Myles Garrett, to keep it real with you. Myles Garrett, you brought this on yourself. But hey, blame Kevin Stefanski. Myles Garrett, if you want somebody to be upset with, blame Kevin Stefanski for that porous offense he keeps pushing out there and not giving you guys a strong chance to win football games, because we all know the best quarterback on that team is Shedeur Sanders. I don't give a damn what y'all keep trying to put out up there in the presser. I don't care what, you know what I'm saying, what y'all keep trying to say. Dylan Gabriel, at least right now, it's not it. And I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders is perfect either, but I know for a fact that Shedeur Sanders is better than Dylan Gabriel. And right now, it seems that Kevin Stefanski is just sitting here trying to justify his decision for placing Shedeur Sanders all the way down the depth chart up into this point of now making him the backup. That's what it seems like to me. So Joe Flacco showed that the Cleveland Browns, they just gonna continue to do the Cleveland Browns thing. And again, I feel for Cleveland Brown fans, bro. I really do. I really feel for y'all, because that what they got going on is just, it's just ridiculous at this point. But hey, let me know how y'all feeling about that before I continue to rant on about how bad the Cleveland Browns is and how Joe Flacco honestly he shut me up. Honestly, Joe Flacco shut me up at least for 2 games, simply because I was like, bro, he's not going to be good over there in Cincy. And so far, he's looking pretty damn good in Cincy. So I got to shut up. It is what it is. It is what it is. All of us can't be right all the time. So I sit here right here in front of you and say Joe Flacco is shutting me up because I was not a believer in what he was going to be able to do for the Cincinnati Bengals. But hey, let's move on and talk about the last topic for today. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are a dumpster fire. But Justin Fields has came out recently and said that he wants to go out there and be more aggressive for this Jets offense. The team, are 0-5 on the season, and they just lost a game to the Denver Broncos 13-11. 13-11. Yeah. I don't want, yeah, bro. It's not good enough. And Justin Fields, bro, yeah. Yeah, I like him. He was once my quarterback, but at the end of the day, bro, this is literally probably your last shot until they bench you for a couple years or so until you get some rehabilitation and then you could possibly start again. But as of right now, it's not looking good. But Justin Fields went on to say this. I feel like I've been a little bit too conservative in a sense. Probably just need to be a little bit more aggressive. I've always just been big on ball security, not putting the ball in jeopardy. But it comes to a point where you just have to find that healthy balance between trying to maybe fit it into smaller windows and just letting it rip. That's it. That's it, bro. And it's an example to where you see those. It's plenty of it. There are plenty of examples throughout this losing streak for the New York Jets to where you look at Justin Fields and Justin Fields could have been more aggressive in the first game of the season. The pass that Justin Fields threw to Garrett Wilson, a more aggressive move could have been Justin Fields running for the fucking first down. literally, literally something that you're really, really good at. Run for the first down. He had the lane. And then instead, you know what I'm saying? He throws the ball to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson gets hit. As soon as he catches the ball, he drops it. Game over. Now, I understand it to a degree in that Garrett Wilson has to catch that ball, but Justin Fields, a little bit more aggressive. Go out there and ball out, bro. Your career depends on it. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at the numbers for Justin Fields, the numbers are going to say that he's doing well. You're going to see 65% completion percentage. You're going to see 799 yards, 4 touchdowns, 94.2 QBR. But that ain't telling the whole story, y'all. That's not telling the whole entire story when it comes to Justin Fields. Justin Fields, to his credit, has owned up to him being too damn conservative. Bro, you got to throw the ball. You cannot have this mindset that has plagued you and followed you since your days in Chicago. You have to let it rip. You have to take advantage of small windows in the NFL. You can't sit there and wait and not be a passer who can't anticipate that their receivers are going to be open. Now, I'm not saying that the Jets have the best wide receiver core, but you do have options available to you in Garrett Wilson and the young tight end that you just drafted in Taylor. Justin Fields simply has to be better. Will he be aggressive moving forward? I don't necessarily know, but I hope that he does to give himself an opportunity because I never want to really see quarterbacks fail. But if they are not playing well, I will simply say, Justin Fields, you're not playing well, bro. You're not. You're not playing good football right now. You're getting all these stats in garbage time. I want to see you go out there and help the New York Jets get a victory when it really, really counts before the game gets out of hand versus the Dallas Cowboys or before things turn too bad versus the Denver Broncos. You couldn't do anything in those games. You have to be better. So there should have been a mindset already to just let it rip. Now, we can look at Justin Fields' career and we can say, paired with a defensive coach in Chicago, paired with a defensive coach in Pittsburgh, paired with a defensive coach in New York. Maybe he needs some type of rehabilitation where he can sit with an offensive head coach, get some and understand what is expected of him in that regard to see how good he can be because he throws a solid deep ball. He's, accurate for the most part. He has a strong arm. He's hella athletic. Maybe he do need to sit down and go to Kevin O'Connell's school of quarterbacks. Maybe he do need to get with Sean McVay and go to Sean McVay's school of quarterbacks. Maybe he does need to go somewhere else to where offensive coach can help him get right, in a sense, the same way we seen, you know, Sam Darnold get right. Mac Jones appears to be getting right now. You know what I'm saying? Geno Smith, that's a different type of conversation because he spent time with Pete Carroll, who's a defensive head coach, but also empowered him to go out there and, get better as a quarterback. I don't know what's next for Justin Fields, but if you do want to go out there and be more aggressive, it has to start in your next matchup versus the Carolina Panthers, bro. You gotta get it going and you gotta make it happen, bro. If you want to go out there and get a victory, you cannot hold on to this football. It is hurting you and it is hurting your team, Justin Fields. You have to let it rip. But I don't know if he will. We shall see. We shall see. But hey, that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of NFL Central. And before y'all get up out of here, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you always love football. Y'all already know. We're going to catch y'all on the next one. For sure.
This has been a presentation of the Break